Hi guys, welcome to beautiful Whirlwoods in Brooksville, Florida. It's a great place to practice, great place to play. Rick and his super staff out here, man, they're just great. Gravity Golf is proud to be here, and I'm happy to be able to bring this to you from out here. I want to talk to you real quick about a couple of things. The first thing, and we can get it over with real quick, is weather is the #1 deterrent to practicing. Now, in the summer in Florida, it's not too bad today, but in the summer in Florida, you stand out there in the sun very long, it's going to get you. It's going to zap your energy. You're going to have to be constantly consuming water. If you'll seek out these shady spots to practice from, and sometimes you've got to do that early in the morning or late in the afternoon, but if you want your game to get better, you'll do that, okay? Standing in the shade gives you a whole lot better opportunity to practice without weather really becoming a factor. And weather, I mean the sun, hot sun in the summer beating down on you, okay? Now the second thing I want to talk to you about is going to take a little bit more time. I basically got one rule in practicing my short game. Putting, chipping, short pitch shots. And that rule is never leave them short. Okay, if you're sitting here with a bucket of golf balls and you're going to hit a bunch of them and you leave the shot short, three things happen. Two are very obvious, one not so obvious. The very obvious things are, if you leave it short, it stands no chance to go in, does it? Okay. The second thing is, if you leave it short, it's in the way of your next one. Okay. Let's don't do that. But the third and least obvious, but probably most important thing that happens when you leave one short is your brain will sense that you do not have the power that you need, and it will try to add a second power source, and that happens involuntarily. It'll come from your subconscious, and there's nothing you can do about it. And when that happens, all kinds of bad things happen. The second power source comes in, bladed shots happen, chunk shots happen, okay? So let's roll a few down there and let you get the idea. Now, you know, this is 29 steps onto the pin. We're about 35 yards total, and it slopes away from me, and it's down grain. The west is that way, and the grain's going that way. So, you know, it's going to be very easy here to run one off the other side, but I'd much rather see one run off the other side than leave one 10 paces or 10 yards or so short, okay? Just throw a few down there and see what's going on. I mean, that was almost perfect. Story of my life. I'll catch some of that cup from here and it won't go in, right? But I got a pretty easy next putt. As a matter of fact, some people might call that a gimme. Now, if I leave one short, it's always in the way of the next shot. It stood no chance to go in, and it will start getting your mind thinking that you don't have enough power, okay? So you don't want to leave them short, even if you run one off the other side of the green, okay? You want to get it to where it's second nature to hit this thing the right distance, at least getting it to the hole and giving it a chance to go in. I mean, this guy right here, you know, right there is where my brain stepped up, and I didn't have the slack out of my spine, and my brain said, you better do something. And I pulled with my arms involuntarily. The ball is short because of it. I hit it thin. I'm lucky it didn't really get away there, okay? So stretch the slack out of your spine, keep your weight up on your left side, and get used to having the distance on this thing where you'll cover the distance. It'll have a chance to go in. Yeah, that's a foot short, so I don't even want that guy. Hey, that's an easy next putt, right? I'm out playing, I'll take that every time. When I'm practicing, I don't want that guy. I want it 6 foot by as opposed to 1 foot short. Okay. One last guy here. It's a regular golf ball, got mixed in with my range balls. Okay, so get in the shade when you can, when it's hot. If you've got a place to practice where you've got a cover over it like we do in Arkansas, that's a good place to practice when it's raining, sun shining down, okay? Don't leave your shot short. Putting, chipping, short pitch shots. Get them to the hole. Give them a chance. They're not in the way for the next one, and your brain won't sense that you've got to add a little bit of power, okay? All right. Now, this is a little bit different angle, and it's a little bit different grass here to hit out of. I'm a cross grain here on this grass instead of down grain from where I was hitting up there. My mindset still on these has to be the same thing. I've got to get it to the hole. I don't care if it goes off the other side, as long as it's well struck. If it's struck poorly, then hey, that means I need to work more on my technique. Okay, let's see what happens. A lot slower shot here. All right, that was pretty good for first rattle out of the cage. See how fast that is off, running to the left from here, which is straight down from that last angle. Again, I do not want to leave these guys short. A lot of people will come out and practice this, and they're happy with one that's anywhere near the hole. They're happy with a 3-footer that's short. When you're out on the golf course, be happy with that 3-footer. But when you're practicing, get your mindset that this ball has got to get to the hole, okay? Man, if I was a little bit more of a drill sergeant and I was teaching this, I'd make my kids run to the clubhouse and back every time they left one short. What would happen? I wouldn't have any students in a very short period of time, right? So, but that's how important it is in my mind, to my mind. That's how important it is. So get in a habit out here of getting these things to the hole, okay? So a real quick sand tip here. So one of the things I've always struggled with in the sand, and it's a mental thing, I guess, but I had a bad tendency to let my spine collapse on the downswing. I think my mind saw it as having to go dig it out. And when you do that, you lower the apex. Therefore, you lower where the bottom of the circle is. That's going to cause you to catch too much sand every time, okay? So let me do a couple here. I'm going to let my spine collapse on one, and then I'm going to see if I can keep my spine from collapsing on one, okay? As my spine collapsed, the bottom of the circle goes down, you just catch too much sand. Some reason or another, I had problems with that. I like to never cured it, and I still have to watch it. It creeps back in if I'm not careful. I'll see if I can keep the slack, keep my spine stretched and keep the slack from coming back in. Don't let it collapse. See what happens. Didn't hear it hit the pin, but that's going to be close up there. So hopefully you can see on that where the first one my spine collapses, that one my spine did not collapse, and see I caught it perfectly behind the ball. So be aware of that. Get out and mess around with it. If you're having trouble in the bunkers, hitting some thin ones, but mostly catching too much sand, that's slack in your spine that's causing that. David Lee spent 50 years researching the swing and the things that are going on from a biomechanical standpoint, and he's spot on this, because I went from a poor bunker player to a better than average bunker player just by making sure I kept the slack out of my spine on the downswing. Okay.